I have something that one of you boys and girls is going to take home with you today. Someone's going to get to take this home with you today. So since we don't have the box, we're going to do some spring cleaning. What do you think about that, huh? What do you think? I don't know where this came from. I really don't. Sometimes people just bring things and put this under whenever, things like this happen. So how many of you ever had an itchy back? Who has an itchy back? Have you ever had an itchy back? Okay. How about anyone have an itchy scalp, an itchy head? Yeah, you have that sometimes. Okay, all right. Anyone have an itch right now? Just thinking about it to make you itchy? Okay, you're itchy. Here we go. Does it feel better? Probably not the right place, but you never know. You never know what'll happen. So let's see here. This is a lot of fun, but we could talk about, let's see, do we need to talk about scratches and itches? Or do we need to talk about hands and that kind of stuff? Let's talk about scratches and itches. Did you know the Bible talks about people that have itchy ears? Did you ever have an itchy ear? Anyone have an itchy ear? Just thinking about it makes you want to scratch your ear, doesn't it? People with itchy ears. Yeah, the Bible talks about people with itching ears. And I read that and I say, what in the world does the Bible mean with people with itching ears? Well, when the Bible describes that, it's found in, and I can't remember if it's 1 Timothy or 2 Timothy, but the Bible talks about days that were ahead, that there will be people, things will get worse and worse and worse. And one of the ways you know that things are not good in the spiritual state of people is that there are people having itching ears. It means that they want a preacher to tell them what they want to hear rather than what they need to hear. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Someone that tells you what you want to hear rather than what you need to hear. And the Bible describes that there will come a time when there will be teachers who gather up people who want to hear what they want to hear rather than what they need to hear. And in that case, the Apostle Paul was talking about people that use the Bible and they tell people what they want to hear rather than what they need to hear, the truth of the Bible. Now, here's my question. Do you think there are people like that around today? That they're very religious and they talk about the Bible, but they're not necessarily telling the truth of the Bible. It's always been that way. There are always going to be false teachers, always. And so what we have to do as people is we have to be discerning. That's a great word, isn't it? Discerning. Use that word this week. Your teacher will love you for it. Your parents will be impressed. It will be wonderful. It means that when I'm discerning, it means that I learn to decide and find out what is right and wrong. Sometimes it means what is good and best. And it ought to be that way even when we listen to preaching in church. So whenever I stand up to preach, here's what you need to listen for. You need to listen for, okay, is he telling me funny stories that make me laugh? No. But it's not bad to have funny stories that make you laugh, right? Not bad. It's not that. Is he telling the truth from the Bible? Can I tell from what our preacher is preaching that he is basing that from the Bible? And that's something you need to learn how to listen to preaching. Is he handling the Bible accurately? Or is he twisting the Bible to make it say what he wants it to say rather than what it actually says? Now, it takes great discernment to learn how to listen to preaching, because the reality is that sometimes, especially people that are deceivers, they are really, really good at it. And the reason people listen is there are people that are just, I'm convinced there are sincere people that just are deceived, and they hear someone who sounds so good and somebody who's so appealing, and they say, they just are just so vulnerable. But we have to always go back to the Bible. What does the Bible say? And that's how we learn to grow in discernment. We learn what the Bible says. We act according to what the Bible says. And as we act according to what the Bible says, we become more discerning. And I hope you become a more discerning person even when you listen to me preach to you, to make sure that I'm really preaching the word and what the Bible says. How many of you kids have opinions? That says you have your idea, what you think it ought to be. Everyone has opinions. Let's look at all these. They all have opinions. Everyone has opinions. I have a lot of opinions. But if I tell you my opinion, I ought to say, this is my opinion. But when I preach the Bible, you need to be able to say, hey, is my pastor preaching the Bible? And is that really biblical truth? Wow, that takes discernment. Okay, who has the most itches? Who's the person with the most itches? We've got a lot of itchy people up here. Yeah, ma'am, you were the first hand I saw. Are you the person with the most itches? Would you like to have your itches scratched? Well, here you go. You take that, and I think as tall as you are, you can reach every part of yourself right with that hand, okay? You never know what you're going to go home with when you come to church, do you? All right, thank you, guys and gals. You can go back to your seat.